Do we want to try and take one more stab at it, or are we
Let's
done?
try one more time while you read.
Okay. Next, we'll move to items 18 through 22 on our agenda. Item number 18. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Item number 18, PA 25700036, plan amendment to redesignate the existing land use category from mid-intensity suburban neighborhood to compact neighborhood on 20.1 acres generally located north of Cactus Avenue and east of Buffalo Drive within Enterprise. Item number 19, ZC 250571, zone change to reclassify 20.1 acres from an RS20 residential single-family zone to an RS2 residential single-family 2 zone generally located north of Cactus Avenue and east of Buffalo Drive within Enterprise, description on file. Item number 20, WS 250573, waiver of development standards for reduced driveway separation in conjunction with a proposed single-family residential subdivision on 20.1 acres in an RS2 residential single-family 2 zone generally located north of Cactus Avenue and east of Buffalo Drive within Enterprise. Item number 21, PUD 250572, planned unit development for a 210-lot single-family residential development within modified development standards on 20.1 acres in an RS2 residential single-family 2 zone generally located north of Cactus Avenue and east of Buffalo Drive within Enterprise. And item 22, TM 25500142, tentative map consisting of 210 single-family residential lots and common lots on 20.1 acres in an RS2 residential single-family 2 zone generally located north of Cactus Avenue and east of Buffalo Drive within Enterprise. Good evening. Come on in here.
Oh my God.
You want me to come in there now?
Please.
Okay.
Camera's not coming on. Thank you.
Oh.
I'm trying one room at a time to see if that makes any difference, but I don't think it's
Okay. He has large boards.
Yeah.
This is not good.
Does it make any sense to try to grab the ladder and set him up kind of like an easel?
There's an easel right outside the room. The easel.
Oh, appreciate that. Mr. Gronauer, we have an easel up here so you guys can put your boards up so that people can see it. You got one too?
Yeah.
Come on down.
So we're gonna go old school, the way we historically have done these town board meetings. It looks like there's some large displays. Folks can come on up closer. If you need to step up and look at the displays, you're welcome to. Go from there. Oh, now it's on.
Nah, it's okay. Let's just do it this way.
What I wanted to do is, Mr. Chairman,
Please.
if I may, I wanted to show a quick video of the Community Land Trust because I have some members from Clark County here who has been working on the Community Land Trust, and I'd like to play that video. It was played on Tuesday at the Board of County Commission hearing, and because there's going to be a lot of questions tonight about it.
Yeah, let's do it quick.
And I'd like to do it quickly and then get into my presentation fairly quickly and go from there. Can I keep going? Go ahead, Mark, put it on.
He's got to put the microphone closer.
Mark, put the microphone.
Can't hear it.
Mark, put the microphone.
Can we tap, because we were able to tie the laptop in. Can we
That's
do
what I
that?
was going to
I don't
say.
have that.
I've got an HDMI cord.
Do you have an HDMI?
I have an HDMI cord.
Okay.
Clark County and Cactus
If we get
Homes
there.
are working together to make the age-old American dream of home ownership possible. The Welcome Home Community Land Trust uses a modern model where working families can buy a home at a price they can afford, not just today, but for generations to come.
I mean, you're either part of the problem or part of the solution. And the county's chosen to be part of the solution.
In a community land trust, the homeowner owns the home, while the land is owned by the county. This helps set an attainable price, builds equity for families, and ensures that future buyers will also have a chance to purchase an attainable home. It's a model to support families and strengthen communities. One of the 2 projects to be completed first under this program is Cactus Trails, a vibrant 20-acre neighborhood that will open the door for 210 families to own beautiful single-family homes and put down roots for their future.
To me, it's a legacy project. I grew up here, I raised my kids here, I went to school here, and it's a way for us to give back to the community that's really, really desperately needed. 210 homes total. Square footage is 12 to about 1,680 square feet. They're beautiful homes. They're going to look just like you would see all around you. They're the same type of home, same architectural standards, same colors, same color palette, same everything. Just a little bit, a little bit smaller.
Using the Community Land Trust plan, Cactus Trails will open the door to home ownership to people such as teachers, truck drivers, and other working families who might not qualify for a mortgage in a conventional neighborhood. Every Community Land Trust homeowner will have to meet various eligibility requirements, such as participating in homebuyer education. These HUD-certified classes will help prepare families for the responsibilities of owning a home and ensure this program is the right match for them, setting them up for long-term success.
For Cactus Trails, there is going to be requirements for homebuyer education. This is going to be HUD certified classes that these potential homebuyers are going to have to go through to make sure this program is going to fit them. So they're going to be on this property for the long term. Not only that, but when they're going to qualify, these are not buyers that don't have their own funds, right? They're going to have at least 3% of their own funds down. The credit score is going to need to be higher than your traditional credit score for just qualifying for a loan itself. So we're talking about home buyers that are going to have their own money and need higher credit scores.
Many people wonder whether homes at Cactus Trails might become rentals or sold to investors. It's important to know these homes are owner-occupied, not rentals, meaning the people who live there own their homes and are committed to the community.
The people that are going to be living here have to go through probably a little bit more stringent process to get the mortgage than what the people that are living here now. It's not low income, it's not Section 8, and that's middle. That's what we call, I've heard it called workforce housing, the mystic middle, but there's a big hole in Las Vegas and nationwide at this price point, and that's what we're trying to do, is trying to fill a need.
Cactus Trails will offer top-tier homes designed with quality and care. When people own their homes, it creates a real sense of pride and belonging. These homes aren't just a place to live, they're long-term investments that help build lasting value in the area. It's about creating a neighborhood where families can grow, thrive, and feel truly connected to their community.
This is a path to be, or a time to be smart about how you invest in real estate, and CLT communities really give you that opportunity if you qualify to leverage a unique position where you're not necessarily paying full price for the same type of assets and community amenities that you would get right down the street. I certainly think it's an exciting project because it's so new and being rolled out in so few communities around the country. I do see the advantage for our valley as a high-growth community to bring in affordable housing options for that workforce community.
Some neighbors might worry that affordability comes with a cost, like declining property values. This is a misconception that real estate experts also agree on.
Please hold your applause or comments.
Surrounding neighborhood. County leaders and real estate appraisers want neighbors to know that CLT homes are appraised differently and will not impact or be directly compared to the value of houses in nearby communities.
Well, from an appraisal standpoint, wouldn't be used in appraisals for houses outside of the project.
In addition to generating home ownership opportunity through the Community Land Trust, Clark County's historic Welcome Home Program and Community Housing Fund are changing lives, helping low-income families, seniors, and working parents secure affordable rental housing. Since 2022, the Board of County Commissioners has allocated nearly $250 million to tackle this critical need. Partnering with builders, lenders, and community groups, Clark County is creating safe, affordable neighborhoods people are proud to call home.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will offer the public comment period, so if you could please hold your comments while these presentations are ongoing so we can get through them efficiently, I would appreciate it.
You want me to go to the side here so you can see?
You can see it.
It'd be,
Try to come to this side since the camera's
that's about where his camera is, about where I'd like you to be so that we can kind of see it as well. If you don't mind.
If you want to come over.
And anyone that wants to stand up and come and look at the boards, please feel free. Good evening.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Bob Gronauer, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive. I'm honored to stand before you tonight with this special project. In the audience tonight, I have from Cactus Homes, Todd Stratton. I also have two county representatives, in Margot Tello and Dagny Stapleton. They are both here who have been instrumental in this community land trust development. This is one of two current projects that are coming through or going through development process. There's one already in the city of Las Vegas. That's a for sale home product, and this would be the first one in Clark County, which is, as you know, just located surrounding Mountain's Edge. The reason why I wanted to show you that video, the quick video with respect to the community land trust information, is because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and tonight you're going to hear some potentially misinformation of what the community land trust is. Although that is not a part of the zoning and land use process, I know those are the things that you're going to hear tonight, and so we wanted to at least get that information out there so you can see what the facts really are.
Can you get just a little closer to the mic?
Yes. So as you saw in the video for it was on the TV, what you heard with the community land trust, it's a creative solution for the families to give the families in Southern Nevada the opportunity to buy a home. As has been mentioned, is currently about half of the county residents are priced out of the housing market. Margot and Dagny have worked very hard on behalf of Clark County of coming up with this community land trust, which is not heard of. It's heard of throughout the United States, but it's the first time here in Southern Nevada. So the location of the property, it's just north of Cactus. It is east of Buffalo and a little bit west of Rainbow. This piece of property is approximately 20 acres of property. We're going to be developing 15 acres down the south of the property where it's divided by a drainage channel, and to the north of that is a 5 acres of property that we're going to be developing. As I mentioned, the property is about 20 acres. This is a piece of property that, although it's not inside, we call it outside of Mountain's Edge. It's actually surrounded by Mountain's Edge. This is a perfect infill piece of property, which is typically what you see coming through development that the county supports coming in for developments like this. The applications that are before you is number one is a plan amendment, and number two is a zone change. The plan amendment, we are taking the land plan from mid-intensity uses to a compact neighborhood. We are taking the zone change from an RS20 to an RS2. Staff is supporting both of those applications because we meet the goals and policies with the land plan in that area. Number one, it shows that we are providing a diversity in housing for all ages, income levels, and abilities. We have various densities. The density that we're proposing is compatible in the area, and the policies and goals encourages infill developments such as this. Because of that, the Clark County Planning Department is recommending approval of the plan amendment, and they're also recommending approval of the zone change. The next item that I want to talk about is a planned unit development, and I'll get on the over here so I could show the location of the property and some of the things that we'll be proposing here. So the first thing I want to show you is the property is an inverted T. Down in this area here, this is Cactus, which is located here. And then when you're coming off of Cactus, we have two entries into the subdivision. We have one that's centrally located in this area. We're going to have open space in this area. And the total open space is about 157,000 square feet of open space, where about 47,000 square feet of open space is required. We have a lot of our open space all centrally located down here, and I'll go through some of those amenities. We also have what we made a change over time where we have a second ingress and egress coming off Cactus, which is more on the southeastern portion of our property. The bottom half of this property is about 15 acres. As I already mentioned, we are divided with the drainage channel, which is right in this area here, which then you get into, we'll be having a bridge and you cross over into the 5-acre piece of property that's located here on the north portion. On the 5-acre piece of property, you're going to have 64 homes that are going to be located here. On the bottom south half, on this 15 acres, you're going to have about 146 homes. One of the things that I want to show you on the site plan here is, although we're coming in with about 210 homes on the property, this has been carefully designed to make sure that as you look on the perimeter of the properties located to the south and to the north on the property here, what's important to note, none of the homes that we're proposing are backing up to existing residential homes, okay? You're gonna have some separation distances. For example, down here on the south property, we do have a trail in this area that's 80 feet in width here. There is a landscape trail area here between our property and the property that's located here of existing homes. We have approximately 137 feet from the existing home to the east to an existing home in this area. You're going to have a road that goes along the east property line. You're going to have about 14 feet of landscaping along this east property line here. Same thing over here. We have about 15 feet on the west property line of landscaping, and from home to home in this area, it's about 58 feet in separation. So you will not have homes that are going to be backing up to existing homes in the area. On the southern portion also, we have about 104 feet in this area from the proposed home to existing homes to the north of us up in this area. And then on the northern part here, we have 5 feet of landscaping at minimum on both sides of the east and the west portions of our property. And in this area, I believe we have in excess of 48 to 50-something feet of separation in that area. As far as amenities in the open space, this is more of the, it's more amenitized than what you see in your typical residential subdivisions. In the amenities, what we're going to have in the beginning here, when you come into the central area, you're going to have a fitness facility which is located here. You have some sports courts. We're going to have some covered seating for picnic areas. We have some dog parks. We have some trails. We have playground equipment, splash pad, and I already mentioned the fitness center, and it's all located down in this area. And if you're familiar with other residential subdivisions, you typically get a top lot and a shaded structure within an open space if you have open space within that community. The homes that we're proposing are 2-story and 3-story homes. The home prices are going to be anywhere from a starting point right now, $249,000 up to $290,000. With respect to parking on the property and the planned unit development here, we are proposing over 500 spaces, where 462 spaces are required. We have extra parking spaces. We've been working with the county along the parks and opens area, and then on the streets on the sides where we'll be able to have some parking in that area. The property slopes, we're low in this area to the adjacent western pieces of the property. Property slopes about 20 feet in this area here in the south from west to east. It slopes about 10 feet up here in the north side from west to east on the property there. I mention that is because we do have a waiver development standard where we're going to be putting in a wall, a redundant wall along the west property line, but because we're lower than the existing properties to the west of us, you won't see that redundant wall on their side of the property. So I want to at least mention that. With respect to phasing on the property and the tentative map that's before you, the 210 homes that we're proposing, the phasing is going to start with this half of the bottom south in this area here will be in phase 1. We'll have phase 2, which is located in this area here, and then phase 3 will be the northern property in this area. We've worked very closely with staff on this application. Staff is recommending approval of our waivers, our planned unit development, and also the tentative map that's before you. So I can answer any questions that you may have.
Was there also additional presentation from the county that was going to happen with this, or was that video the intended presentation? Okay, thank you.
And we'll have, and there is staff from that department if you have any questions.
Okay. So that completes your presentation. With that, we'll open public comment on items 18 through 22. Anyone wishing to speak on items 18 through 22, please step forward, and if you do intend to speak, please make sure you guys form a line. Reminder, there is a 3-minute limit on public comment.
Santiago?
You can pull that down if you need to. If you, oh, just, I think you just bent it. I mean, you can just lift it.
So my name's Don Morrissey, and
Santiago?
we live at 8703 Autumntail Avenue, and I do have a few major concerns. I do oppose the community trust. One, Mountain's Edge, all the schools in Mountain's Edge are overcrowded. I didn't hear one person talk about we're gonna build more schools.
Please hold your applause so we can efficiently get through these comments, please.
The high school in Mountain's Edge has over 3,000 kids. We don't have any schools being built. What are we gonna do with all the extra kids? We don't have rooms in the schools for them. His elementary school, when he gets to 5th grade, has 35 kids. The junior high school, we don't have the schools to support this project. Second, Mountain's Edge. This is gonna be part of Mountain's Edge. More people in the community means higher cost. More residents increase maintenance cost. Mountain's Edge residents have to take that cost on. This will not take on any cost. They're not part of the Mountain's Edge community, but they're in the Mountain's Edge community. So that extra $100 goes, I'm a single dad. I need that $100 for him. I need good school systems. I do homework with my kid. Every day I do everything is for my kid. And we're overcrowding school systems. I think that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, can we just read one question? We're gonna read it together. With our schools already overcrowded capacity, how will adding more students from this new community benefit our children's community, ensure a high standard of learning is maintained for everyone?
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna swap microphones out. We'll leave the top. Swap it out.
All right. Reorganize here, my friend.
One moment, please. He's just gonna swap out the microphone. Thank
And it
you.
only bends at the top of the microphone, so.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good evening.
Good evening. Robert Reed, a little bit. And 10170 Pensacola Street, Las Vegas, 89178. And what I'd like to do is, and I'm going to hold this up, I'm holding up, this is the one of the agreements. There were 3 original agreements from 2002 to 2010 in Mountain's Edge that were approved by the county for the Mountain's Edge community. Now, in here, it covered traffic, it covered density, it covered the schools, it covered fire, and all the things that were concerns to the community of Mountain's Edge. In 2022, this was negated. It just went away. And all of the things that were in this, just no one seems to care about any longer. So our county officials do not take this into concern or effect any longer. Some of the things that were in there was, once the community hit 12,500 homes, that there would have to be additional monies in 2002 dollars, it was $250,000, to buy additional fire equipment and safety equipment. Is that being addressed? Because we're over 12,100 homes at this time and getting very close to that 12,500 mark. Is the county taking that into account? The other thing that I wanted to mention real quick, and I will be done, and that is, there were 3 people up here that mentioned they were totally against going from R20 to RS2, the density issue, on previous items. And what I'm hearing is that that's exactly what we're doing. So I'm counting on the 3 of you to deny this on your previous comments of being against that. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hold your applause. If you continue to applaud, we're going to start cutting some things short. Please hold your applause so we can get through everybody's comments. Everybody needs to be given the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, so I think most of the homeowners.
We need you to give your name and address first, please.
Joe Montalbano, 7453 in Shaw. So I think everybody can see past the show that was put on earlier.
Need you to use the microphone.
I understand your excitement for this project, as it's gonna go to your bottom line, right? So these homeowners in this community have worked hard to earn what they have today. They paid SIDS and LIDs, they paid HOA, they paid their taxes. None of this would support that. They don't pay SIDS and LIDs, they don't pay into the HOA like we do, okay? Super high density, 11 houses per acre, okay? It will affect the home values for everybody in this room right here. The reason it's gonna affect those home values is it's gonna be less desirable to live in this community. The schools haven't been addressed, the increased crime with this low-income project, and that's exactly what it is, because I wouldn't be able to buy a house there. I make too much money. It's a low-income project, okay? Essentially, it's not quite Section 8, but might as well call it Section 8.
Yeah.
So,
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will not afford this man the time to speak, we're going to have to ask you to step out of the room. Please hold your comments until you're speaking in your public comment period.
this project is in the heart of Mountain's Edge. Don't let them fool you. It's in Mountain's Edge, okay? And it is going to do nothing good for this community. It's going to hurt these homeowners, hurt the home values, and bring chaos to this community. I'm asking that you deny this. High density does not belong in a master community. I would have not have moved there had I known projects like this would be put in this community.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Barry Alter. I live at 10331 Thunder Peak. And I appreciate your time. 2 things, not questioning your intelligence, but the definition of a master plan community is a large-scale, meticulously designed development. It also says that these communities are managed by a homeowners association that enforces design guidelines, maintains amenities, and collects fees to uphold the neighborhood's value and lifestyle. When I moved there, I came in off the Blue Diamond and I turned on Buffalo and it said, "Welcome to Mountain's Edge." Now you're going into Mountain's Edge and they're saying, "We're not part of Mountain's Edge. We don't have to pay anything. We're not associated with you. We have this waiver of what our neighborhood is called." But they are to the left of them is Mountain Edge, to the right of them is Mountain Edge, behind them is Mountain's Edge. So when you're surrounded by Mountain's Edge, you're Mountain's Edge. Now, another point I'd like to bring out, I'm a numbers man. By Redfin and by Realtor.com, the average home in July in Mountain's Edge in our zip code was $500,000. That is $280 a square foot. They're building in the center of our community. And basically, I gave them higher numbers because I didn't know it was 249. The paper we were given said 260. Their average square foot is $184 a square foot. So on an average home based on July of 2025, they're reducing our equity by a third. 1/3 reduction because of what they're building. You know, when you look at it, I'm saying to myself, I can't believe that I'm gonna lose my equity to benefit a first-time home buyer. I wish the best for first-time home buyers, but this is a master plan community. And when you sell your home, they don't base it on, well, that's a first-time family and we gave them an opportunity. They base it on comps. Your comps are based on the average price of a home in your area. So when they're reducing us by a third, when they complete this project, our home values are going to be reduced by 1/3. You know, another point I'd like to bring out, I lived in a situation like this about 20 years ago. And when they built the first one, everybody was okay with it, but it opened the door for additional ones. So now we're letting them get their foot in possibly, and we're going to be losing, not reaping benefits, we're going to be losing as a result of this, because when one comes, it reduces the price, and then people start moving, and it's a domino effect. So we see this, it's proven that it's happened before, and this is what we're adamantly opposed to. We don't want this. This is why we moved to the community that we live in. We love it, we stand by it, we value it. I paid 2 HOAs. I paid $300.
Sir, I need you to wrap up your comments.
Very good, thank you for that. I paid 2 HOAs, I pay almost $300 a month, and I love it. Not happy about it, not the money, but I love what I get as a result of it. I have to pay more now to compensate for others that are coming in that aren't paying anything. So that's my points, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Lou Farber, 7235 Hickory Post Avenue, 9179. Just to continue where he left off, yeah, we pay SIDS, we pay our property taxes, which they don't actually own the land. I don't know if they're paying tax on the land. But when they have their gyms and spas, I gotta pay for my own gym. Their dog parks, we gotta pay for all that too. That upkeep is by the city, so not only do we do all our paying, we pay for them. And another gentleman mentioned the math. There was, 20 houses on 2.5 acres, and people here said that was too much. Well, there's more houses per acre in this. This is 210 on 20.1. So it's actually even more dense than the one people were speaking against. And I look at all these people here, you're all supposed to represent us. I've never heard anybody talk in favor of us that lives here. I've been in HOA meetings, which I think they're in bed with the county instead of representing us, which is their fiduciary responsibility, which I believe y'all's is too. I grew up on Flamingo Mountain Vista by Boulder Highway. This project is one of 45 planned from the county. They are all in Congressional District 3, all around Blue Diamond. Blue Diamond is going to become the new Boulder Highway. Okay, I grew up in a low-income neighborhood. Okay, I know that there are people that deserve a place to live, but you show me a high-density, low-income neighborhood anywhere in the country, government plan or not, I'll show you the highest crime rate, the lowest school scores, and it just doesn't work. But more importantly is, we're supposed to be able to determine our own future and how and where we live. We can't. This is like some communist government plan. And also, this is going to change the voting demographics. I'm watching the news how they're redrawing districts in all these other states like California and Texas and all this. Well, here it's just basic algebra. They're not drawing lines around voters. They're importing voters inside the lines. People that get this housing tend to vote a certain way. I'm going to say 90%, but it's probably closer to 99. I'm going to push this very hard. I think there's some larger conspiracy here to change the demographics. Literally this is one of many. They're all planned in Congressional District 3, every one of them. Okay? Plus, it's only a matter of time before shopping carts show up on the streets. There's already a bunch of traffic there. I live right off Starting last street out there. There's already traffic out there, already. It's going to get worse. The first liquor store is opening up on the corner of Cactus and Rainbow. That's what you see. I bet you a check cashing place follows. Extra convenience store, another convenience store, just open up in the same corner. That's what you see in low-income neighborhoods. Okay? This is a fact. We have a beautiful place with lots of space. We all pay for it. I told you where I grew up. I moved down there for a reason. I could have bought a cheap house down on Boulder Highway. Still can. You want to get a cheap house? They're right there. There's plenty of them. Anybody wants some low-income housing? They're all over it. Go for it. Someone spent a whole life to buy a house in that place. I lived there since 2009. And by the way, last year I made 20 grand. I'm low income. None of those products are available to me. I gotta pay my taxes. This is also treating people differently. And this board, I have a feeling your vote is preordained, but it shouldn't be. Because basically, I'm gonna try to shine the national light on this. What's going on in the nation they're reporting on, this should be added to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Cameron Chartsburg Beyer, Cameron Schachbeyber, 7284 Sterling Rock Avenue. It's Quintessa neighborhood, which is located directly to the east of this proposed development. Back in April, I met with Commissioner Jones and Michael Shannon to just understand the development process a little bit more, having attended some meetings before, but just trying to understand the thought that you all sit in with chairs. And so I think the first thing is just the density part of this. I know that the representative mentioned that this is aligned with areas around the community. However, when I looked on OpenWebs, I couldn't find a compact density located around. So if maybe there could be light shined on where that exactly is, that would be helpful, because I don't think that exists. And that's the one thing that I learned with zoning is sometimes it doesn't matter what specifically the project is, but it's really just about the density harmonizing with what's surrounded. So with that doesn't check the box. The next thing is, I understand that that this won't be a part of Mountains Edge Master Association, and that the county will be kind of maintaining everything and acting as a pseudo HOA. With no disrespect to the county, there's licensing, there's a lot of things that go through for like certified community managers. There's a lot of expertise involved, and so to be able to do that kind of as a dry run here, when that hasn't been stood up before as a brand new thing, is a little concerning, especially when in Mountains Edge, if we report like a street light out or something, it takes typically 1 to 2 months to get that resolved, if not less. The county, we have several things on the Fix-It app that have been unresolved for 6+ months. So if that is also going to happen in this area, that's a little bit of a concern. And then the last thing is just the disappointment I had when we have had projects that the county has approved in pending annexation, and then that paperwork just got dropped and something happened along the way, and the best response I've gotten is we just forgot, and that's resulted in a shortage of hundreds of thousands of dollars probably over our lifetimes as homeowners in this area. So thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hello. Angelique Ralston, 7204 Mountain Avenue. This is actually my first town hall meeting when I saw this posting. I'm a single woman. I live in my house by myself with my dog, and I walk my neighborhood at night when I get off work all the time. I feel very safe. I've lived there for 13 years. Something like this worries me a little bit because it worries for my safety. I worry that like they were saying, there is a lot of development happening, and I know it's going to happen. We're a rural state, but it doesn't have to be so compact. It doesn't have to be so much residential as opposed to commercial, schools, hospitals, therapies, places that we need, that everyone needs when there's more people. We don't have enough. I don't think we have enough even grocery stores in our area. I remember when Cactus opened up and the flood that happened into Southern Highlands they couldn't handle, because we still don't have enough. Even though we have a Walmart, that's one thing. We don't have enough hospitals to contain. We definitely don't have enough schools, from what I hear. And that worries me that we're putting such a big amount of people in a small rural area when from what I heard earlier, you denied a lot of those things because it was too many. It also worries me that we are going to take on the debt and the worry and the safety of our neighborhood when they are smack dab in the middle. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, my name is Tony Urban. I'm at 7155 Sterling Rock Avenue. I just want to say that we don't need a low-income housing in Mountains Edge to be diversified. Our community is already diversified. The selling price for these homes are already half to 3/4 the value of what our homes are currently listed. So that is going to bring down our property value. We are part of an association. Some of us are a part of 2 associations within our own subdivisions that keep our community safe, it keeps it clean, and it keeps it quiet. This housing development will not be under the same ordinances as an association, so that is going to jeopardize our safety and the cleanliness of our community and the quietness of our community. And I'm from Chicago, so I just want to give an example that they did do this in Chicago. They did bring low-income housing to certain communities, and now crime is uncontrollable to the point where our president wants to dispatch the National Guard. So I don't want that to happen in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hello, I'm Carrie Chesto, 7359 Olivesa Court. So my first concern is the density, and that's why we're here, is the density. You were saying with the other community that it wasn't consistent with the neighborhood, something like that, which changing the zoning would not be consistent with Mountain's Edge and the community around it. Then I do have another concern about the 64 houses that are in the 5-acre lot with one way to get there over a bridge. I don't understand how that's safe. Okay. Let's see, also the schools are overcrowded, and we were told that we'd have a high school by now, and that's not even, I don't know when that's going to happen. So, and then Rebecca Place, which is the other community that they're working on, has 3.9 houses per acre. And then ours would, this one is 10.5 houses per acre, so it's just really dense. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Buddy Craven, home address 10408 Rawthorne Street. My wife and our home will look like it will border the western part of the project. I just wanted to say one thing about Clark County, especially when it comes to Clark County and housing. I lived in Las Vegas for 20 years, lived in actually Los Angeles County, grew up near the projects. Something that I learned living there was once the county comes in, things change. Once you try to manage things without talking to the people within the community, it never works. And it probably will never work again unless you talk to people. With this project, there was no transparency within the communities. I've never heard of this project unless I actually looked online within our own community. There's been no signs, there's been nothing in the community telling us that this is going on, rather than our own Alpine Meadows talking groups. And the information that we had to find was very difficult to find online. There's just been no transparency. And then as far as the low-income housing in Las Vegas, there's tons of places where you can build. I don't know how the BLM sold the land to in our area. I guess that was part of the problem, or part of the solution is building that land there in Mountain's Edge because of the BLM land. I don't know how much it sold for. I know my house wouldn't sell for that price on that land, which is 20 acres, which my home is 9,000 square foot on that side, and then wouldn't sell for $2,000 or whatever the cost of the BLM sold the land to Clark County. I don't know how that deal happened, but in the meantime, there's other communities such as the historic West Side that would definitely need housing. They would definitely need these services over there, all through Desert Inn, the Sunrise area. Those areas need housing, need that low income there. In a master plan community, you don't need it. Summerlin don't need it, so Highlands doesn't need it, and Mountain's Edge does not need it. And it looks like this is trying to be pushed through on us rather than collaborative effort with the community to ask us as a group, what do we want? Do we want this? And I'm sure if we had a vote, if the community had a vote, if Mountain's Edge had a vote, it would be very different. We wouldn't be here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fabiola Barrera, I'm at 9506 Belvedere Street. This is going to seem repetitive, but we all have the same concerns. Earlier I heard concern, like my neighbors said, about 22 lots and 2 acres. Please also be concerned for 210 lots and 20 acres. Please be concerned about the overcrowding in our schools. I have 2 kids, high school, middle school. We know we're overcrowding. This will only affect our kids and our schools more. Please also be concerned about our trash parks, our trash community as a whole. We, like everyone behind me, pay association, 2 HOAs for me and for many of us. They will not be contributing to this, but they will be contributing to our trash communities, or community. A lot of us have worked really hard to be able to live in our community. Nothing wrong with opportunity, low-income homes, but please keep them away from our community that a lot of us have worked so hard to be able to live in. Please also let us all be the voices for many that, like us, I'm sure I got up at 5 a.m. this morning, took my kids to school, went to work, missed my dinner, missed my kids' game, missed my kids' practice to be here till 10 p.m. Many of us couldn't do that. So please let us also be voices for a lot of our neighbors that couldn't be here tonight till 10 p.m. Thank you. I urge you to please deny this project.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Gary Irvin. I'm at 7155 Sterling Rock Avenue. I'm here to ask this committee to, let's start prioritizing. I'm a retired soldier, Nellis Air Force Base. Came here in 1980. This place is crazy. The growth of this valley. We're gonna run out of water. Run out of schools. Constant building homes. Just building. But we're not prioritizing the things that go with a house. They keep talking about schools. What we gonna do? But we keep building houses and condos. Where the schools gonna go? Well, we just not gonna build. We're not gonna address that issue. We have to do it. You can't just keep saying yes to developers. Mr. Gary comes to town with $10 billion. Mr. Gary, just come see us. We'll get you approved. This is retarded. We gotta do better than this, honest to God. And as far as this low income conversation, I just sent 2 of my kids out of this town. I told them, you can't afford to live in Las Vegas. This is not Chicago. This is not Texas. This is not New York. This is people that want to come from California, sell a $1 billion house, and build a $1 million house here. That's what this is. So that's low income conversation. It's not gonna work. Because you're gonna have so many people in one house, like the 7 kids that grew up in the house that I grew up in, that you're gonna have more than a mess. And I'm just coming up here to be honest about it, because it ain't gonna bother me one way or the other. I'm gonna stay in my lane. But you guys, we at best start addressing the school issue. They keep talking about it, but we gonna have some serious learning problems in this valley real soon. And that's what I want to say. And I'm totally against it. And I think you guys should be too. Because you've been sitting there for a while. And we can't say yes to everything. I know it's hard sometimes, especially when we got friends, they got friends, they got friends. I know it's hard to tell them no. I know. But we gotta say no sometimes. And that's all right.
Thank you.
I want to make sure everybody hears
Ma'am.
me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We need your name and
My
address
name
for
is
the
Lynette
recording.
Gavrich. I live on Dolly Varden Court, 89179. It's at the end of Rainbow, in between Buffalo, off Star. I am not a native Nevadan. I was born in Detroit. I know what goes on with that. I was also in LA County. I know what happened there. I love this place. I've been here for 2.5 years. My husband died in December. I called 911 and I was put on hold for so long. It wasn't funny. I couldn't believe it. That didn't even happen in LA. I just want to let you know that I am against this, but if I didn't open up the Mountain's Edge email, which I usually don't, and saw this, I would never have known about this. I paid $820,000 for my home. I love this community. But I know socioeconomic issues. Why don't you build this in a low-income area and then help them with a solution by giving them vocational job training and education to get them better jobs, and then give tax incentives to businesses to hire these people and to make it better. You don't put this type of an environment, which will only create jealousy and crime, and then lower the property values. I can leave, but these people have families and they're tied here, and they can't. So please, please vote no.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Dawn Elam. I live at 7730 Jasmine Falls Drive. I purchased my home in 2015, sole owner. I ate my fair share of ramen noodles to get my home, just to be clear. But I moved to Las Vegas from North Carolina for my job, and this is where I've stayed ever since. So I'll do my best not to repeat anything that's already been said tonight. I highly oppose this project for a few reasons that have already been mentioned, but I wanted to say that we do have a petition. We have 4,096 signers so far, and I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but I'll be happy to share that information. But also, we were sent these forms, postcards that we're supposed to fill out. It's dated August 21st, and it had the meeting information for, August 27th. That's not a whole lot of time to prepare. So I understand this project has been in the works for a while, but the word hasn't really been spread. So I just think bringing awareness to the community, and then just noting that I 100% oppose this. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Marie Rogers, Hartke, RODGERS, HARTKE, 10510 Borborema Street, 89179. So last night I read the ground lease agreement that folks who buy in this community will have to sign, and I want to bring a few things to your attention. Page 43, item E, says that the sales price of home is restricted. The most you can sell the home for in the future is the affordable price you originally paid, or what it is worth on the market at the time of sale, whatever is lower. What is that going to do to our home prices? Yeah, you need to go read it. Page 47, item K, talks that parking is very limited. If there's not enough parking, and I don't know how much parking there is, not looking at that map, is parking going to bleed onto Cactus? Does Cactus even permit parking? It took 9 months to get a light bulb changed on Buffalo outside of my community. I was terrified coming home at night in the dark. I was going to hit somebody because it was pitch black. If the community, through their fix-it ticket, took 9 months to change one light bulb, how is the community going to accurately or efficiently manage this community. And the woman I spoke to at the county when I kept calling repeatedly, like, hey, where's my ticket, where's my ticket? She said, you know what, we don't have enough electricians. Do you know anyone who wants a job? Page 48 of this land lease agreement, item N, says the county will rebuy the house when they want to resell it, and it can be bought by a nonprofit organization. What is that? So while I think tonight is a lost cause appealing to the very county that is sponsoring this effort, I'm hopeful that your votes this evening will at least reflect what you've heard here and vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
My name's Kevin Bissell. I live at 7383 Atacama Avenue.
Could you speak a little more into the microphone? I just want to make sure you.
I'll try.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. I just want to bring up a point that was brought up in a neighborhood meeting. That was the developer at that meeting reluctantly presented the elevations after they were requested to do so as to what this product was actually going to look like. And the elevations that were presented at that time in no way were comparable to the design guideline standards of Mountain's Edge. I noticed today that, once again, they were not presented any elevations to show the neighbors what this was actually going to look like. I see that they have some now colored photographs of product that was not presented. I'm curious as to why they don't present that. It looks a lot better than the ones they had at the prior meeting. My concern is are these a matter of being part of this record? Are they being submitted to the county? Is that what we're going to get, or do we know exactly what we're going to do? There was a conversation as to whether the developer would be agreeable to complying with the Mountain's Edge design guidelines, and I don't know that we ever received a response to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Guess I'm last. Jeff Harkey, 10510 Warbringer Street, 89179. Yeah, I don't know why I'm talking about the money. Question I've got for everybody here is, which one of the individuals here came up with that really cool, very communist version of the ground lease agreement, where the person, when they buy their house, gets zero equity from their home because they have to sell it for what they have paid for it or what the market value is, the lesser of the two. The second question I've got for you is, who came up with the Stasi agreement? That's the East German secret police, where someone has to go into your houses for the individuals who actually buy these, if this project is approved, and does an inspection on an annual basis. That is an invasion of someone's privacy. That's what I've got to ask. So my recommendation to you, gentlemen and ladies on this board, deny it. This is a wool over our eyes being pushed by the Biden administration previously, which pushed all of these low-income family group that were pushed out under the last 13th hour of his administration. And yes, I can see that you're smiling, but this is the truth. I'm not a Trumper. I'm not a Biden administration fan. I believe in the truth. There is a lot of rotten fish in this agreement. It stinks.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Harris, Harris. I live at 7532 Pepperbox Avenue. Everything's been said. I know you guys, and it's tiring. I'm coming to you as a substitute teacher for CCSD. And my husband's a truck driver. So two of the careers that were mentioned in the video that we that we watched. Desert Oasis is our only high school, and Southern Highlands comes into Desert Oasis with us. So it's not just Mountain's Edge, it's Southern Highlands. We have Gunderson is our only middle school in Mountain's Edge. That's the only one. We've had traffic problems with Gunderson for years since it opened. We've had children hit because of the traffic that we have to endure at Gunderson, and they've done an amazing effort to try and fix those problems. If it's a family of four that is moving in to a 210 housing lot, that's 800 people that are coming into Mountain's Edge. We don't have the capacity to keep them. We have Walmart and we have Smith's down in Southern Highlands, and we have Albertsons. That's all of our grocery that we have close by. We don't have the infrastructure to take care of these people that are supposed to be coming in. The amount of density that you're trying to fit into that parcel is insane. I hope you'll think of what we have as our structure now that we can't support what's coming. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alondra Goodrich, 8406 Cactus Avenue. I work with CCSD and also at the Harbor Behaviors. I have some concerns about the schools and the behaviors. I have worked in the North MLK middle schools, we all know behaviors, and those behaviors need a lot of attention. Where are the schools going to refer them? We have no community for those kids. We don't have no library available for those kids to go to. Those families usually double up. They're going to apply for one income, but you know those families going to turn into 8 or sometimes up to 12. And I see it all the time when I do my behaviors and assessments. And those families that I work in the north side, Rancho High Schools already have a lot of those behaviors because they have about 3-4 high schools around those neighborhoods. Just an idea. We in Mountains Age, we only got one middle school, 35 to 40 kids per classroom, sometimes. Elementary school as well. We had 3 elementary schools and they still have a capacity of 26 to 28 kids. You add in 200 families, doubling up by 8 people in those homes. Where are these teachers gonna send those behaviors? We don't have a Desert Break. The closest community that Clark County offers is Desert Breaks. Big 60 Big Brothers is the one closest to South Harley Lines. Where are those kids gonna look? They're gonna find trouble. Next thing you know, we're gonna have stealing from stores, robberies, more crimes in our neighborhoods. I'm from New Orleans, my husband's from Chicago. We know about crimes. We was raised in those neighborhoods. We work hard to get out to raise my daughter into those neighborhoods. That's why I moved to Mountains Age. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nancy Boyd, 9264 Calvary Line Drive, 89578. I didn't plan to speak tonight, but I have all the sentiments of what everybody spoke about this evening. But as a real estate broker, I'm disappointed that we're gonna put a spin on home ownership. It's really a lease. It's like going to lease a car and say, oh, I own this car. That is a lease. They don't get any equity, they don't have any pride in ownership, and people are gonna figure out that they're being fooled because they gotta pay for all the repairs. I'm also a property manager licensed. They gotta pay for all the repairs. That's like me telling tenants, oh, you gotta pay for the repairs. You don't get to sell it and make any profit. You don't get anything as a homeowner. That does not make sense. That is fraud to me. This is just a fraud that they're trying to sell to people at the county and the county managing properties. I can't even imagine, as a property manager, I cannot even imagine the county stepping in and say, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. We have to manage our own owner, as an owner, and we have 2 HOAs that tell us, oh, you gotta paint this, or what are those homeowners gonna do? They don't have the money because they're affordable housing. So how are they gonna keep up the property? Doesn't make sense. And they're gonna figure it out. I'm being fooled. I don't have any vested interest in this property, but they're telling me I'm an owner, so they don't have to fix anything. I think the county's gonna get sued for this. I would do it. Because how could you get someone to pay for something that they don't own if the air conditioner goes out? So you're gonna have a whole bunch of torn up properties, and I guess the county can come up with some money and figure that out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mike Zobris, 10388 Planter Block Street. I appreciate you guys' time. I know you're volunteers, I believe.
We are.
So that's very commendable on your part. I think, based on what I've heard here tonight, I would be extremely surprised if you guys voted to approve this project. The bigger concern for me is when this hits the planning commission, and every homeowner in here needs to get their neighbor. Because when this gets the planning commission, and then what's the next one? Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? Lost the words here. That's where they roll over whatever this body says. You think commissioners there care? They don't take into account what this board says. In most cases, they will just railroad it, so you have to get your neighbors. You need to bring your neighbors out here. I'm the only one from my community here tonight. If you don't do that, they'll push this through. I can guarantee it. I've seen it many times before in commercial properties. Happens a lot. So it's up to us to get up there and fight, because this project's ridiculous. Not here, in Mountain's Edge, not now. It's totally ridiculous science experiment that needs to just be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close public comment. All right, one more, please, Bob.
No, he's closed public comment. If you
She-
want to allow one more,
Allow the one
we're not
more.
gonna call more people up when they didn't get up.
I'm gonna remind you that we've already heard testimony on all kinds of things, and you don't need to repeat them, we've heard the point. But please come forward and speak your mind.
Pamela Alter, 10331 Thunder Peak Street. One of the things I wanted to bring out is that we don't want to sound heartless about the community that they're trying to do. I came up from on my own, you know, a lower income, and worked my way up. I'm almost 60 years old, and the way I've worked my way into the community we are now in is my husband and I, we just constantly invested, constantly doing everything you can do to better yourself, and better yourself. And there's a price for it, like we brought out with the different HOAs and the different things going on. And it's just something to consider that's really disheartening, is that when you put so much to invest into an area and to invest everything into it, that it can just be taken out so quickly. You know, that's just something I just really wanted to harp on with that. That was one thing. And the other thing is going back, nothing is ever free. There's always a price for something. So to bring a lower income community into our community that we've worked so hard for, and thinking that, oh, the government will take care of it, you know, everything's gonna be taken care of. It's not. The things that are happening, they come right out of our pocket, and it's not right.
Thank you. I see you took advantage of that. If you don't mind, just make sure you keep your comments to things we haven't already heard, please.
No comment. My name is Michael Harris, 7532 Pepper Box. I live across the street from this development. One thing, I'm 100% behind everybody else, what they've actually said, and my wife as well. But you also look at the fact of how many people are going to be in their homes. So you have a normal family, it's 3.5 people in here. So if you have a low income family, you're probably going to have 8 people in the house. So that's going to put a stress on EMS services. And that's going to put a stress on everybody else's response time to get to them. I was former EMS, and now I'm a truck driver. Okay, I had open heart surgery. I know what it is to have an emergency. And all the homeowners we have are not going to have that emergency capability, because the response time is 1 to 3 minutes in your area, and they won't have that because of they're taking up that time, and their streets are congested because of the vehicles that they'll have too. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and close public comment now. Before you get started, Bob, there's a couple of things I want to touch on just so that I can help everyone understand a few things. First, I think one of the last couple of comments that were there, just so you guys know, we're the 4 people you see up here, we're all members of the community, we live in the community, we're volunteers, and this is our call it our volunteer work to come here and express our opinions on applications as they come forward. Our recommendations are not binding, they are just a recommendation from members in the community based on getting to see the applications and understand them. I heard one comment related to the notification. Brady, keep me straight here, but I just want to, I'll wing it. But the notifications that go out, the little orange card that was there, those are based off of the decision-making board's, their agenda date and not this recommendation board. They do put on that this meeting is occurring, but that notification is related to the decision-making board's opportunity to hear and decide on this. This is only going to Planning Commission. It's not going to BCC. Is that correct, or does it go to? I only see PC date, so.
It goes to BCC.
Does it? I'm sure that there are components of this just because of the nature of it. It's going to have to, but I'm not sure that this application.
It will eventually move.
Yeah, under the staff recommendations.
Got it.
October 22nd.
Thank you. The only other, we touched on those items. One other thing, several of the comments that were made are, and I don't want you to respond to things that are beyond our jurisdiction. Several of the comments that were made are for items that are just not part of planning and zoning, which is what this town board's restricted by law to being able to comment on and being able to consider in their decisions. So just making clear that you guys brought up all kinds of great considerations that should be thought through and carefully weighed, but a lot of them are just beyond our purview as part of this board.
So how do we stop this?
Sorry, sir, I closed public comment. I gave everybody as much opportunity to be able to speak on the item as anybody wanted to speak, and now I gotta let the applicant respond, and then the board will comment and provide their input.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have about 4 or 5 things I want to touch on. First and foremost, with respect to some of the facts I want to get out there, why we're here. There's no conspiracy with respect to why we're here and what's happening, but here are the facts. Number one, a few weeks ago, Zillow came out and mentioned in Southern Nevada, we're short over 30,000 homes. As you know, I've been standing up here before you for many years, and we've always had this discussion. The home builders have said there's not enough land supply that's out there for the homes. The reason why you have home prices at the levels of what you have today is because there are no homes out there, there's no land to build homes. That being said, this piece of property on the land use side, this isn't just because it's vacant, it does not mean that it was never planned to have residential uses on this property. As a matter of fact, it is planned for single-family residential up to 8 units an acre today. That has never changed. So when the county has gone through the land plan process and you're looking at the types of public facilities that are needed, this property was already calculated in of having residential density on this property. Yes, the reason why.
Bob, I don't want you to respond back to the comment from the crowd, please. Guys, I gave, like I said, I gave everybody opportunity, and the quickest way to have us stop the meeting is for everybody to comment back. You may like decisions that come forward tonight, you may not. The worst thing you're gonna do is cause a scene or cause more headaches than what have to happen to get through these conversations, because it's just gonna reflect badly when you go on to the next boards. Please hold a level of decorum so we can continue the meeting. Thank
So to clarify, the fact is this property is master planned for residential today for single family homes. There was someone mentioned in their presentation here in the opposition that yes, this property is zoned RS20, okay? That is a holding zone in Clark County. The land plan is what we'll control at the end of the day. The irony is, just to the east of our property, the property is zoned RS2. It is in the staff backup. To the north of us, the property is planned RS 3.3. To the south of us, we have planned of RS 3.3 and RM18. I do know for a fact in Mountain's Edge, because we've done a lot of zoning in Mountain's Edge over those years, that there have been a lot of non-conforming zone changes that increase densities. The densities in Mountain's Edge is very high, and higher than your typical master plan community that you see in Southern Nevada. The other thing that I want to point out is in Mountain's Edge, you have a significant number of rentals that are located in Mountain's Edge today. That is a fact. The fact is, the people who are doing those rentals, there's a certain percentage of those people that are living in Mountain's Edge today are going to be those buyers that are going to be located on this type of property there. But a lot of those people who live in this area also qualify for these type of projects. So that being said, I want to get back to the zoning and land use. On the zoning and land use here, staff has reviewed this application. When you take a look on its face here and you look at the the existing densities in here. This is no different than compatibility of other densities that are out there. With respect to some of the comments, I got the county officials here, I got Margot here. The reason why I wanted to show that clip in the beginning is because there are some facts in there that we knew we had to address. Property values are not going to be dropping in the area. We'll have an appraiser, and appraisers coming to speak and testify on that as we go through that process. We'll have real estate agents also saying the same thing as when they do those comparisons. Those are two different buckets that they look at. As a matter of fact, the equity does go up on these homes, and Margot's here to explain that if need be. They do pay property taxes. There is an HOA. They'll have to pay into an HOA fee for the maintenance of the amenities and the common open space. Matter of fact, the county has been working with the Mountains Edge Master Association with respect to making sure that we are complying to the development standards and guidelines that are already existing in Mountains Edge. What does that mean? We're going to come in with the same landscape palette. We're going to come in with the same type of wall designs. The elevations of colors and the schemes that are part of Mountains Edge, we're going to make sure we match those. So with respect to the development standards of Mountains Edge, that has been our intent from the beginning, is because we want to make sure we blend in within that community. We have amenities in there that are going to be paid for by the people who live there. And finally, the last thing I just want to mention is we've worked with your staff. Staff is recommending approval of these applications because this is a residential project, which is no different than any other residential project outside the fact that it's a community land trust. If we took that away, we probably wouldn't have a room full of people. We would have just another residential development with staff recommending approval because that is the zoning and land use entitlement sits before you today.
We don't have 11 houses per acre out there, sorry.
All right.
Nobody cares about your
Sir,
It's our place.
guys, we've already closed public comment. If you feel the need to talk more about it, please step outside because we've moved on from public comment. All right. I'll open it up to the board. Any questions you have related to zoning, planning, or anything else with the development that you feel like you want to talk about, but I would recommend keeping constrained to things that are within our purview. I guess one question that maybe, I'm guessing, Margot, maybe if you can come and explain is, how does the site selection work? Because it is slightly different than a regular, I'm guessing, I'm asking because I don't really know how the site selection worked for this development. So.
Yeah, Dagny Stapleton, Community Housing Administrator for Clark County. I can answer that question.
Okay.
This site was selected in 2021 by the Clark County Board of Commissioners in a public process. An RFP was actually released for this site. It was one of a small list of parcels that is made available by the BLM to the county to do development on for families up to 100%.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
So you said that it went through a public process. Can you describe that process of what the public process was so that we can demonstrate or understand if there was public comment periods, there was opportunities for public hearings?
Both the approval of the selection and request of the site from the BLM, as well as the selection of the developer and the developer's plan, went through a public process before the Board of County Commissioners. There was a public hearing and notification of that process.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, it's her turn to talk.
Okay. You touched on the HOA, you touched on the site selection. One good question that the community had was about elevations for the building
Yeah, and I apologize, I've been moving back and forth during the presentation. Those are the elevations I put up there. Yeah, you have an idea of the those are the proposed elevations. Yes,
So-
that's what's been submitted to Clark County. That is what is on record.
Great, thank you. So is it my understanding then that for these 210 houses, there are 210 garages plus the additional parking that count that you
Yes.
mentioned? So there's approximately 500 parking spaces plus a garage at every house?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It's about 3 times as much parking as the previous R2 project.
Yes.
Okay. There was a comment, and I'm not sure which document the gentleman had. I'm assuming it was the master development agreement for Mountain's Edge, where he talked about a threshold and needing to have development of fire equipment. I guess my question would either be for you, for staff, or whoever, if that is something that should be being triggered here. Just want to make sure because I didn't necessarily understand the question.
The development agreement is done with Mountain's Edge, so that's expired, voided. So there is no longer an agreement. That those obligations were all fulfilled at that point in time, and so that's expired, voided. It's no longer in existence.
Okay. So I've heard that there were at least 2 full public hearing processes. So that covered the community outreach and transparency concerns. I wrote down. Yeah. I heard several comments and concerns about how many people are going to move into the houses. That's beyond our scope. One thing that I think, if this board was to recommend approval, I think that a condition of complying with the Mountain's Edge Master Association Development Standards is absolutely appropriate. Okay, I will stop at that point and see if anybody else has any further input.
Yeah, I have a question. So where is that extra parking? Because there is 1 per resident, right? So I'm trying to see in this site plan.
So we have parking spaces that are located here along the park area here, in the entryway. At the end of the rows here, we have parking. We'll have parking on this side of the street here. We'll have parking on this side of the street, on this area here. Same thing here, we have parking spaces at the end of the cul-de-sacs that are located, not the cul-de-sacs, at the end of each row, as I'm showing you. You have parking on one side of the streets down in these areas here, and parking here, and some parking in here.
So other than the official stand parking, it's along the streets.
Yes.
You're not allowed to park on the streets, you get stickers on your car.
We've closed public comment.
Thank you. That you've got 2 egress ingress in those.
Yeah,
I can see the first one.
Yeah, we initially had
Where's
one,
the second one?
and
So I
then
don't see
we're working
it.
with this. So the main ingress and egress is located here, right in the center of the project. And then on the southeast portion along here, along Cactus in this area, this is the street that goes up in this area, and you come up right up in here.
That's the area I've got a problem with. When you get into that upper portion, and you've only got one way in and one way out, from an emergency services point of view, that doesn't make sense to me. Given the density, emergency services, someone mentioned earlier, they're an EMT, that doesn't seem like a safe solution to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we close public comment.
I'd
Please
really like to see
hold your comments as the board is trying to talk to the applicant about their application.
I'd like to see some dialogue or some planning around that. And this has been an interesting meeting tonight. There's been talk about emotions and economics and opinions. If we just deal with what we have in front of us is a very finite amount to talk about, and that's the plan amendment, that's the zoning. And tell me what that is going to be. Is this a safe development? Does it have adequate egress? First glance, I struggle with that. The second thing I struggle with is we've had a lot of talk about density. And density here is, it's on everybody's mind, it's traffic, it's social services, it's groceries, it's parks, it's roads. Let's talk about the infrastructure. With the amount of housing you're going to put in here, and given what we have available underground for water, sewer, storm, has there been any study that is what existing adequate to support this job, or this, this project?
Yeah, there is. So we have to go through studies. Fires review this. So there's a long process to where we are today. Is fires review this from a public safety standpoint. We have Public Works of Traffic has reviewed this. Public Works Drainage is reviewing this. So we have all of these technical studies that we have gone through in discussions with the county and professionals, where that's how these designs have come about. Now, that property up in the north, it's essentially landlocked, regardless, no matter what type of project you have. You're surrounded by existing residential that's in there. So the only ingress and egress is going to be coming down to the south on that 5-acre parcel. Now, in working with the planning and public safety, that was not an issue that was brought up, otherwise we would have made some changes. We did make a change to add in a second ingress and egress off of Cactus, because that was what was discussed. We had some discussions with some of the neighbors in one of the 2 neighborhood meetings that we had. We had discussions with Public Works, we had discussions with planning, and so we added another ingress and egress in the area there off of Cactus. And no matter how this property is developed, ingress and egress that's what you're going to have there, as many as you can get there. Get cuts on the Cactus.
There's an opportunity for a northeastern egress crash gate or something. That portion up there, locked the way it is, I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah, I think that you're 100% right, Chris. I think that in any application that brought forward 64 homes on a 5-acre parcel, we would be concerned about having one point of egress, and I still think it's a concern. I'm actually kind of surprised I don't see some commentary from some of those agencies, but that's okay. It's still something that I think we express here, because I think that it's consistent with other comments that we've made in the past. I think it's consistent with concerns I have with this application as it sits here.
And to add to your concern, they have to go through 150 more homes to come on Cactus before they can even access the public right of way for the landlord parcel. And I think I echo what I heard regarding the parking, because most of the marginal community like this will not allow parking on the interior streets, and that's just going to I think overflow with Cactus. I think
We're allowed to have parking on our streets, and all those other subdivisions, they control themselves how they want to control. I have parking on 2 sides of my street, my community, I can't park on the streets. Okay, so it's every community. So this community, excuse me?
How wide are the roads in the community?
43 feet in width. And you can park on one side of the street, and which is no different than any other subdivision. It's how the HOA wants to maintain it and run it, and we have an HOA there, and we're gonna be allowed to have parking on the street.
And you guys are including in this application, in your parking count that's being submitted as part of the application, those spaces as part of your parking count. So even if somebody wanted to turn around later and say you can't park in those spaces, they in theory should be coming forward with a new application to reduce their parking if they tried to do that. Yeah, I mean, I've looked through the difference. There's a couple differences I see between some of the things we saw earlier tonight and what I see here. A 2.5 acre parcel is an infill parcel. A 20-acre parcel is something that's planned and thought through. Those are different elements to me. If you had brought forward 2.5 acre R2 property in the middle of a different setting, I would say the same thing I said of the application before this. I thought it was interesting as I started looking around the neighborhood that directly across the street there was R2. To the southeast there's another R2 development. So I struggle with saying that R2's not okay. I'm not sure that the plan that we have in front of us is the right way to go, but I don't think I can say R2 is not okay. I think that this kind of conversation echoes my concerns on other applications along Blue Diamond Road on the major frontages about throwing away land that is planned for commercial. As we fill in all of these other areas, people are going to need places to go shop, and this is not going to be an appropriate area to try to put a commercial development in. This is the kind of thing that shows me that it's a good thing to continue to try to push to get the areas that are planned commercial to get developed as commercial and not just throw that away, because in the long run we all have to live in this community and it's going to be tougher and tougher the more we do that. You and I have talked, and I think that you and I disagree sometimes on the amount of housing and level of density that needs to happen, but an R2 development with an R2 development across the street's not, I mean literally across the street, is hard for me to say that it can't be R2. I'm not sure whether or not the neighbors would be as riled up if this was a normal R2 development, and it's hard for me to take into account the type of the community land trust conversation in relation to this. I think that in my mind it's got to be evaluated on the basis of the project. So right now I think it's admirable that you've got the increased parking. I think you've got, if I understand it, you've got a 15-foot landscape border minimum everywhere and more in other locations. In fact, as I was digressing back a second, when I was following that trail down, almost everything along that trail as it goes around there seems to be R2, both north and south. So I do think that it's a concern for me having the number of exits, the 2 exits even for the overall community and the one coming down through. So I struggle with where and how that could move forward, because in my head that means everything but I don't know how to approve the PUD with that. I know how to deal with the plan amendment, I know how to deal with the waiver of development standards, I know how to deal with the zone change. The PUD gives you, quite a bit of broad powers in that situation, and because of that, that's in my head, that's got to be where the design review hits, and so that gets hard to support.
I think I disagree with, it's easy to say no to R2. There's 8 sides of this inverted T, 6 of them are 3.3. I think it's simple to say, I would not get on board with going to an R2, that's easy for me, or an RS2. As far as the zone change, I wouldn't be on board with that at all. Plan amendment, same thing. I wouldn't be on board with that, changing it from mid-intensity to a compact neighborhood. I would think you'd want to maybe try to develop it to add a 3.3 to have a better argument to keep it more with the surroundings. And the waiver development standards, the traffic's an issue, the egress on the southwest, I would agree with what Chris had said earlier. And the radiuses, I don't know how, it doesn't make sense to me, every radius in there is 20 feet. I don't know how that got passed by fire, it just seems like, I thought it was 25 feet, but it just, to make those corners, every single one of those is 20 feet.
I think it's 24, but that's, yeah.
Has there been a community outreach meeting for the locals for this development?
Yes, we've had 2, yes.
No, there have not.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've closed public comment. We need to continue through we've afforded everybody opportunity to speak, and we'd also allow the applicant to speak. Everybody was given their full respect. Please let the board and the applicant continue their deliberations. So, Tiffany, there were,
I'm assuming what you wanted me to ask is, was that notified to the legal notification radius?
no, what I was gonna ask is, can you confirm there were 2 neighborhood meetings and how those are organized?
Yes, there were. There were 2
Or Bob, can you share how the notification works?
Yeah, we follow code. We actually worked with the county staff. We ordered the labels, we sent the labels out, same radius, both neighborhood meetings. We do what we always do in neighborhood meetings. This
Let
is
him speak,
pretty standard
please.
stuff of what we do. As I said, there's a process. You work with planning, you get the labels, we work with the liaisons, we work with everybody in the
So
county.
let's help, because, you know, most of the people in the room don't do this for a living. So when you notify for a town board meeting, do you go get labels that pertain to the same notification radius that the county gives, which is it 1,000 feet?
I'll interject on this. So for town board meetings, for the Board of County Commissioners, for the Planning Commission, the county mails out the little
cards,
yellow postcards you all receive. When applicants host neighborhood meetings, they use the same notification radius that is all dictated by state standards, by NRS standards. And so it's the same notification. As many people in this room mentioned that they heard about it through a newsletter or a neighbor or other things, that's not what's required of these applications. There are legal requirements, which are a radius from the parcels, and that's what was used for the 2 neighborhood meetings that were held.
That's, if I remember right, it's generally 1,000 feet, I think, but 1,500 feet.
1,500 foot radius.
So it's
You don't have to like it, it's how it works. We're explaining the process, it's not up for debate.
okay. Anything? Ladies and gentlemen, we've closed public comment.
Do they
We
want to step
afforded.
out so we can continue and get to a motion at some point?
You're free to leave. Thank you. Okay. Any other comments from the board? Any other questions for the applicant as you're trying to understand if this is an application you can support or not?
On 3 of the 4 directions that aren't RS2, the planned use remains mid-intensity.
Your mic's off.
Yeah. The planned use remains mid-intensity on what would be the east, south, and west sides. What is the
Chris,
need?
can you use your microphone? I can't hear you.
Sorry, everybody. The planned use on 3 out of 4 directions remains mid-intensity. When we get to the east side, it goes into RS2 and it goes into compact. What's the disadvantages for mid-intensity versus compact?
It's strictly the density level. Once when you go over 8 units an acre, you go from the mid-intensity into compact neighborhood, which is the next residential category of intensity.
And RS2 is not a conforming zone within the mid-intensity.
Within the mid-intensity. So the 10.1 drove it.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
So to comply with sorry, I had to grab my phone to do a quick little bit of math. To comply, you'd have to be 160 units or less if you were going to be in the mid-intensity.
It would be 160 is the number.
Yeah, I think I have concern about plan amendment. So I think all 4 sides mid-intensity I thought. Maybe let me see it one more time.
So if you're, They've got that trail that's along the east side.
Uh-huh.
All these houses on the east side of that trail are R2.
Yeah, but they're very density though, not compact.
They did the zone change without doing the plan amendment. At that time, they may have been able to do the non-conforming zone change. I'm not sure how that went though. Which was a different process that's no longer available to anybody. Mike, I'm assuming that that's probably how that happened if there's R2 that's still land use planned for mid-intensity.
Possibly, I mean, I couldn't say
Okay.
for sure.
On the other side of the parcel line is where.
The concept, but I don't know how that was approved.
Okay. And to show a little bit more, generally this area, I think it was. So the areas to the southeast, this development is all, which is right along Rainbow, is all R2 as well. Yeah, I get to, honestly, I get down to, I would tell you that the houses that are facing out towards, is it Cactus to the south, is that right? The houses facing Cactus to the south, I'd want to see some increased architectural features along the public right-of-way, because I think you show the front elevations here, but you're not showing the side elevations. I'm assuming that they're going to have like one window, and that's all that's going to face out to the public right-of-way. So I'd want to see some increased fenestration there, I think, or increased architectural features, I think is what we've been calling them lately. On the elevations facing the public right-of-way. But again, as I say these things, these are suggestions because
I got it.
Tiffany, would it make sense for a condition to comply with the Mountain's Edge Master Association development standards to be attached to either the zone change, the waiver of development standards, or a plan amendment, if that was a condition? Maybe the waiver?
Yeah, you can't put it on the plan amendment or a zone change because those are ordinance. What you do is it would be on the waiver of development standard, it would be on the PUD and the tentative map. Those are the three areas.
Yeah. I think Brady and I agree that it would be on the PUD or the waivers.
So the waiver of development standards is focused purely to the driveway separation and not to the actual layout of the driveways. So if there was, not that I'm sure I actually have this much consensus right now with this board, if there was a consensus that we could get to a plan amendment and zone change and the waiver of development standards allowing the 1.5 feet separation instead of 6 feet, we could attach the conditions for complying with Mountain's Edge Master Community Development Standards to that. Or we could turn it all down, or we can approve it all.
I'm stuck on density.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm stuck on density.
Fine.
And designating it to compact neighborhood
Closer to your mic, please.
is what's driving, what's getting me stuck on density here. And if this was a 160 unit plan that we were discussing that had better emergency egress, in my opinion, it would be something I could support. And at 210 and with this plan amendment and zone change, I can't get behind it. So I'm not at item 20 to talk about driveway widths.
Fair enough.
It's not there.
Well, if you guys can't get to 18, the rest of it gets real easy.
Can we look into a planning restriction on the plan amendment? Can we go that far in this room?
I'm not sure what you mean.
If we can put a condition of approval on a plan amendment, that it remains that suburban neighborhood and it can't go beyond.
You would just deny it.
It's already there. You don't condition it.
It's already master planned
Okay,
to
and
that
that's why I asked
intensity.
the question.
Yeah.
And actually,
I mean, honestly, if they came in with 160 unit development, they could skip past everything but the PUD
yeah.
and the tentative map. It's okay. If you guys have a motion, feel free to make it.
Then to get it off center.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, item 18, item PA 25-700036. Make a motion for denial.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Motion passes 3-1.
And that was Barry, right?
Yes. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have to finish the rest of the items. Can you please? And we still got more agenda items. Could you hang on? You want to keep going?
Yeah, I'll keep going, sorry. Item 19, Mr. Chair, item ZC 250571, motion for denial.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Motion carries 3-1.
Item 20, WS 250573, motion for denial.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nay.
Item 21, PUD 250572, motion for denial.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That one was 4-0?
Yes, it was.
Item 22, TM 2550142, motion for denial.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for your
Thank you very much.
consideration tonight. Have a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the meeting is not done. Please hold your applause. We still have to finish the meeting.
We want you to go home, they're still stuck here, so quietly exit the room, please.
Guys, we're still doing the meeting. I can't. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Please, if you're gonna leave, please step out. I appreciate it. We can't talk to you right now. We have to finish the items. Thanks, guys.
Okay, that's the law, the meeting's still going.
Guys, thank you very much. With that brings us to the end of our planning and zoning portion of our meeting. Next, we move to general business.
And I hear some staff being called ugly names out there, if security can please.
Yeah, they're called, she left the room.
We are not going to abuse staff in any department or division, so.
All right.
Thank you. Where are we, guys?
We're at general business, and we actually do have a general business item tonight. All right.
Item 2, yeah.
Sorry, you're right. We did trail item number 2 to the call of the chair before we conclude our planning and zoning portion. Item number 2.